Hey, welcome to this video. Doug Barry here. As always, I appreciate you taking time to be with me. Okay, so the stock market's all over the place. No, this is not a stock market video because I'm not an expert in, the economy and stock market and such. But the way this is handled a lot of times in the press can be a little frightening for people, and we do have to look at it a certain way. And so I want to address that. Before I get any further into this video, I want to encourage you to go out to our brcoalition.com, click the link in the description below, of course, and get yourself a free download. It is on an emergency bag, go bag, bug out bag, whatever you want to refer to it as. The idea behind it, of course, is being better prepared by having items on hand that'll help you get through different types of crisis and situations. It also helps us kind of change the way we think with regards to being better prepared and taking it upon ourselves to be accountable for our responsibilities and duties instead of just thinking we're going to make a phone call and someone's going to come and save the day. All right, stock market, we hear it in the press talking about crashes and the feds do this and there's a recession and the bubble's going to burst and so forth. Is this going to happen again? Is it happening right now? Most likely it could be happening right now, but most likely for sure it probably will happen. Just like it did in 2008, there was a big drop. Go back to the Great Depression, in fact. Markets correct, markets are affected by this, that, and the other thing. There's manipulation that goes on. Yes, all that is true. So you expect something, sure, I do too. All right. And 2008 was tough for me in different ways, but we got through it. All right. Here's my point, though. We don't have a lot of control over some of that stuff, though. We do have control over what we do in response to it, and we have control over our anxiety or our fear or our hope in these situations. Now, some would say, "Well, Doug, I don't have control over my fear." I would say, no. I think there is something you can do to help with that. You worried about the stock market crashing? You worried about prices jumping, super hyperinflation, and this sort of stuff? Yeah, I get that same thing. But what I can do right now is take steps today. Okay, and that doesn't mean necessarily I'm going to run out and buy gold and silver and invest in this and that. Okay, if you want to do that, go for it. Do some good research on it, make some good choices, pray about it, and get into it. But the perspective that we need to have, and I say need to because it's something that God wants us to have. Now, my opinion means very little. Okay, in general, overall, I would say, except when we put God in this picture, when we pull him into this equation, then we need to be looking at things differently. And God says what? At least it's been said 365 times in the Bible, right? That we're not supposed to fear. Fear is not what we should have. Now, a sense of urgency is different, though. The sense that there's something going on and I need to take steps right now to be better prepared, that's a good thing. That sense of urgency when you're driving down the road on a road trip and you look at the gas gauge and realize you got an eighth of a tank of gas and you're on the interstate and you're wondering where the next gas station is, that sense of urgency can kick in. It's urgent. We need gas now, or we're going to be stuck on the side of the road walking to a gas station with a gas can, if we even have a gas can. You get my point, though? Is that sense of urgency should drive us to take steps in advance, take action before the problem occurs. So again, we encourage you at BR Coalition all the time. We encourage to be better prepared with basics like food, water, shelter, medical defense. We have courses on this we offer at our website, brcoalition.com. This go bag that I've talked about at the beginning of the video also is a way to take steps to help you in different ways. So again, click that link, go check that out. But when it comes to the stock market, world economy, and these sorts of things, yes, there are things that we could and should do. If you can get some gold and silver, that's great. If you can be ready to own some property, that's great. Some of you are thinking right now, and probably throw this in the comment section, we don't have the money for that sort of thing. I understand that. This is something that I have to live with as well. I have to make choices based on what I'm able to do. I say to God regularly, Lord, there's only so much I can operate off of. I can only deal with the things that are in front of me, the things that I understand, the things that I have control over. Really want to emphasize this. There's only so much that we have control over. Like I can't control the stock market, what the feds decide to do with interest rates and so forth. I pray. And prayer is powerful. Don't underestimate that. And please don't fall into that category of, well, all we can do is pray. I've said this before and I'll say it again. That's the greatest thing we can do. Everything should start and end with prayer, that relationship with God. However, God gives us, again, in between these ears, a brain with common sense that says take steps, take action, when and where you can, to try to ensure, to the best of your ability, that your world that God gives you and those that God entrusts to your care, that you're taking care of that in the best way you can. So being better prepared financially is a good thing to try to do. This is not a news flash to anybody here. But what I do want to encourage you in this video to do is change any perspective that is rooted in fear. God is not about fear. That's the enemy. God is about taking practical, common sense steps to try to ensure what we can and then surrender and trust the rest to Him. So I really want to encourage this, again, that you take those steps that will help ensure with the food, the water, the shelter, the defense, some financial things, keep some cash at home, of course. If the banks go completely belly up and they're shut down for some reason, if you remember that IT outage that we had not too long ago, the time I record this, we had a major IT outage that affected the whole planet in some way, shape, or form. We had all kinds of problems. Some areas were affected more seriously than others, but there were some that were finding that they couldn't use their phone app maybe to do banking online. These are great luxuries that we have, but they can be taken away in an instant with something as simple as, a cyber attack or some sort of upgrade, which is what they told us was the problem, questionable, upgrade computer software scenario that can lead to a serious problem. So what I would say is if you can have some cash at home or in your pocket, just in case, do that. There are stories, many, many stories out there, people who've gone to a gas station and they would say, well, we can only take cash because our machines are down, our ATM, our debit card, credit card function is down. It's not working right now. So it's cash only. And some people have to walk away because they have little or no cash on them ever. I don't think that's a wise thing. I think it's wise to have some cash on you, have some emergency money in your home if you can, in a safe place, obviously. Make sure that you're taking those steps. So when it comes again to watching the stock market, I would say the stock market going up and down and the warnings that we hear and the manipulation that goes on in it and the fear factor part of it that people will basically prey upon, that should all be motivation that I can then move forward with other things so that I can be in a better position. So if things do completely collapse or the banks get shut down or something along those lines, I'm not left out there in the cold or in the dark wondering, how am I going to get food for my family? How am I going to get, access to anything that I need just to survive, the basics? I want to have those things in place in advance. So go check out our website, brcoalition.com, and the rest of our BR Coalition YouTube channel. We've got a lot of great videos on preparation, a lot of free content. Free content is out there. And this is something that I really encourage you to check out so that you can start taking some steps in these different areas, natural and spiritual, mental and emotional too. And I'll close with this. We are built by God as spiritual beings and physical beings. Now, many will say, well, I'm just going to rely on God. He'll take care of everything. Yes, God can take care of everything, but God gives us free will. And He gives me the free will to get the right amount of sleep at night. In other words, I can try to stay up all night and drink caffeine and wreck my health because I don't take care of it by getting the proper rest. But God gives me the free will to do that if I want, or He gives me the free will to be disciplined enough to go to bed at a decent time and get up at a decent time. Get that 7 or so hours of sleep, whatever I might need every night. God gives me the free will to determine whether or not I put gas in my gas tank or just trust Him that He's going to give me the gas to drive across town or do my shopping or go visit family or whatever. God gives me the free will, the common sense to take steps, to live a life that gives me a sense of peace and a sense of security to the best of my ability, and then trust the rest to Him. So because we're physical and spiritual beings, yes, we want to trust God, but we also know that He put us in a natural world and we need to respond to that natural world. I hope this helps encourage you to put the fear in the right place. It's not about anxiety. It's about urgency. But urgency doesn't have to be fearful. Urgency could be a sense of there's a serious issue. We need to take action. And with good training, good formation, stuff that we offer BR Coalition, this can be something that helps us not take that action minimally or take it for granted, but actually act upon it and do it in a way that is very fruitful, very productive for not only us, but those that God has entrusted to our care. So again, I encourage you to go to brcoalition.com, get that free download. It's free. This is a go bag, bug out bag, emergency bag, whatever you want to call it. It basically gives you the items that you need to get started and start transforming the way we think when it comes to being better prepared. Hope you have a great day, and I appreciate you being with me. God bless and strengthen you. We'll see you again soon.